everyone to Morning Flow. My name is Mark Cormier. I'll be joined by Kathy Cormier soon enough, but I'd like to get class going, so I'll invite you to come to the top of your yoga space. Finding a comfortable stance. So obviously wide is going to be a little more stable. Challenging that stability, you go a little bit narrow. But we want to find that balance between your effort and your ease. The narrowest you choose would be big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Good way to connect with your center. But having said that, sometimes this early in the morning, you don't want to go there. From our feet, finding our legs. From our legs, finding our spine. Relax shoulders. A slight tuck of the chin without shortening the neck. I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart. Soft eyes, if you're comfortable with closing your eyes. And we'll start our class this morning just by watching our breath as it flows in and as it flows out. Arriving here on our yoga mats, ready for a morning yoga practice. Now from this place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath as you find a long, slow inhalation, matched by a long, slow exhalation. As you breathe in, I'll invite you to find a full body breath, bringing the air to the top of the chest, the base of the belly, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your body. To this full body breath, I'll invite you to move towards an Ujjayi or ocean breath, a go-to breath in many flow practices, a slight constriction of the base of your throat to add a slight sound and feel to your breath. And as we flow through our practice this morning, letting the sound and feel of your breath be a focus for your practice, often compared to the sound of the waves of the ocean as the waves wash in and as the waves wash out. To this ocean breath, I'll invite you to find Jiva Bandha, tip of the tongue to the hard palate just behind the teeth, trying to keep that connection throughout the practice, keeping our jaws relaxed and connecting front and back planes of our bodies. And finally, with your lips closed, adding a slight smile to your face, a Mona Lisa smile, opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this, if you closed your eyes, opening your eyes, hands by your side. Let me welcome Kathy Cormier. Keeping it simple, I'll invite you to inhale the arms up and over the head. Exhaling, arms back down. 2 more times like this. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, arms down. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, arms down. Let's add a forward fold. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, leading with the heart as you fold. Take a breath to lift chin and tail. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, riding the breath up, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. 2 more times like this. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, riding the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. 1 more to go here. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, riding the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. Sun Salutation A. I won't cue vinyasa on this first one. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. And then on the exhale, grounding on down, one hand and then the other, and finding your down dog. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to walk the dog as you bend one leg deeply, grounding down through the opposite heel. And then finding that same stretch on the second side. And then freely moving back and forth between the sides, just stretching it out, seeing how your body feels this morning. What feels tight, what feels right, what feels somewhere in between. From this place of movement, I'll invite you to move back towards stillness. Long arms, long legs, long spine, deep, full breath. On the tail end of a breath, I'll invite you to bend the knees ever so slightly, lifting the tailbone a little bit higher, more space in the low back, and then looking between the hands as you mindfully make your way to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, hands over head pose. Exhaling, standing tall. Second one just like the first, but I'll cue vinyasa this time. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out, elbows soft as you find chaturanga, yoga push-up. Inhaling into yoga back bend, hips stay down for the cobra, or lifting the hips up for the up dog. And then exhaling back to your down dog. And holding for 3 to 5 breaths. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to the base of your throat. From that place, listening and feeling as your Ujjayi breath flows in. And as your Ujjayi breath flows out. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, and I'll invite you to bend the knees ever so slightly, lifting the tailbone a little bit higher, more space in the low back. And then looking between the hands as you mindfully make your way to the top of your yoga space. Maybe take a little jump. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. Exhaling, folding. Inhaling, hands over head pose. Exhaling, standing tall. Let's do one more sun salutation A. We'll throw a moving plank into the mix. Inhaling into hands over head pose. On the exhale, finding the forward fold. Take a breath to lift chin and tail. And then on the exhale, back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or just stretching straight back. Yogi's choice. Always finding that balance between your effort and your ease. Those of you in down dog or any other shape, always feeling free to stay wherever you are. From down dog, I'll cue the moving plank as we inhale forward to plank pose. And then on the exhale, back to down dog. Inhaling forward to plank. Exhaling back to down dog. We'll hold this next one. Inhaling forward to the plank. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. One more half breath, breath in. And then breath out, lifting hips high. Back to down dog. And holding for another couple of breaths. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to your hands. Lots of space between each finger. Grounding down a little more predominantly between the thumb and the forefinger as we draw the energy up the inseams of the arms. Shoulders engaged, either keeping the neck relaxed and the head super, super heavy, or long through all sides of the neck as you look back towards your navel. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly, lifting the tailbone a little bit higher, more space in the low back. And then either stepping or maybe taking that jump to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, hands over head pose. Exhaling, standing tall. Sun salutation B. It starts with a chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, engaging your glutes to support a back bend at the top. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length. And then on the exhale, back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Again, let your breath make that call. From down dog, flow style. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Finding a three-legged dog, right leg high to the sky. High on the left toes. Now looking between the hands, bringing that right foot on through. Landing it lightly as we spin the back heel down. Arms up and over the head for our warrior one. And then riding your exhale back down to low lunge as you spin that back heel up. And either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Yogi's choice. Always flowing with your breath. From down dog, second side. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Now looking between the hands, bringing that left foot on through. Spinning the back heel down. Hands going to always find the hips as you find your balance. And then up and over the head for our warrior one. And then riding your next exhale back down to low lunge as you spin that back heel up. And from low lunge back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. And we'll hold our down dog for 2 or 3 long, slow breaths. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly, lifting the tailbone a little bit higher. A little more space in the low back. And then looking between the hands. You either step or take that jump front. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding. On the inhale, back to our chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, a little back bend at the top. On the exhale, neutral spine. Let's do one more sun salutation B. We'll throw a hip opening sequence into the mix. Inhaling into our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out, back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. From down dog, flow style. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Finding a 3-legged dog, right leg high to the sky. High on the left toes. Trying to keep that right shoulder just as it is, lifted leg straight. I'll invite you to stack the hips, right hip on top of left. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. Now looking between the hands and bringing that right foot through, landing it lightly as we spin the back heel down, arms up and over the head for our warrior one. And then riding the exhale back to low lunge as you spin that back heel up and then back to down dog as you will. From down dog, second side. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart, finding a 3-legged dog. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Trying to keep that left shoulder just as it is, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips, left on top of right. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. And then looking between the hands as we bring that left foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms up and over the head for our warrior one. And then riding the exhale back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Let me read a couple of comments here. Welcome, Sandra. Josephine likes your pants, Kathy. I think
Maria's.
The Maria's, and then she gave them to Joe, and then Joe gave them to you. Something like that. As we hold down dog, coming back to an even breath and watching as it flows in and out and enjoying that meditation upon your breath. And that's what makes it yoga. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly, lifting the tailbone a little bit higher, a little more space in the low back. And then looking between the hands as you mindfully make your way front. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding. On the inhale, back to our chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, standing tall. I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart. A light press of your thumb against your sternum as we line up each finger. Shoulders relaxed, a slight tuck of the chin as we bring our attention back inward, watching as our breath flows in and as our breath flows out. And then lifting the chin tall through the crown, hands by our side. I'll invite you to bring hands onto the hips as we step or jump our feet hip width apart. Now let's bring our hands to our back, the fingers face down, so low back. And we're going to circle our hips for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll take those hip circles the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now 4 fingers find the tip of a thumb. We'll stretch out our wrist as we try to touch the front of our wrist, bringing those bird beaks onto our shoulders, keeping the hips just as they are as we circle our shoulders for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll take those shoulder rolls the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Back to center, arms in the air like you either do or don't care. We'll take the hips one way, shoulders go the other for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll take those rotations the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And hands by our side. I'll invite you to bring hands to hips as we jump it in thin like a pin. An extended standing pose sequence, Sun Salutation C. It starts with a chair. Taking our chair lower. On the inhale, rising on up, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length, and then breathing out, back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Welcome, Stephen. Welcome, Renee. Josephine says that those are not Maria's pants. They're hers.
Oh.
From down dog, flow style. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes.
I'll tell her I'll get her.
Keeping that right shoulder just as it is, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that top leg, opening up that hip. It feels so good. And then looking between the hands. As you bring that right foot through, landing it lightly, spinning the back heel down, arms up and over the head for our Warrior One. In Warrior One, I'll invite you to bring the hands back to the hips, shifting the weight out of the front foot and lengthening our stance any amount. From here, with our hands on our hips, we can steer back hip front, front hip back. Now finding those bird beaks, 4 fingers touch the tip of the thumb, stretching out our wrists, bringing those bird beaks onto our shoulders. Relaxing the shoulders and squaring the heart front. Now finding a clasp of the fingers behind the head, pressing the head into the hands, open heart, open throat, and then stretching those hands high to the sky. From here, with the breath, straightening the front leg without locking the knee as we gather up the energy, palms face back. On the exhale, finding cactus arms as you stretch wide across the front of the heart. Breathing in and breathing out. We'll do 6 of these. Breathing in and breathing out. We got 3 more to go. Breathing in and breathing out. Last 2, breathing in, breathing out. Last 1, breathing in, breathing out in, holding cactus arms. I'll invite you to bring the elbows back, the hands come with, rippling your fingers, just enjoying the stretch. Now turning Warrior One into Warrior Two as hands find the heart. We open up the hips. You might narrow the stance just a tad. Classically, it's heel to arch alignment. Having said that, always feeling free to find a wider stance. And then finding one long arm, looking out over those front fingers with a steady yet relaxed gaze. In our warrior two, I'll invite you to paint rainbows, straightening the front leg without locking the knee, palm faces back, inhaling, exhaling back to warrior two. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. We're halfway done. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last two. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last one. Breathing in. We'll hold the reverse warrior. Reaching up a little higher. Reaching down a little further. Breathing into that front lateral line. Finding more space between each rib. And breathing into that space. From our reverse warrior back to warrior two. We're going to skip the reverse warrior because I know Josephine's watching and she doesn't like the pose. Oh. We're going right to the triangle. Thumb and forefinger find crease of hip and base of rib. Deepening that crease, lengthening those ribs. Straightening that front leg without locking the knee. We'll ground bottom hand down in an appropriate place. Left hand opens up left shoulder. And then stretching hand high to the sky, either looking down to the ground, off to the side, or up to the sky with that steady yet relaxed gaze. I'll give you a little tip. I'll invite you to line the thumb up with that shin bone. That way you'll find a little more openness in that bottom shoulder. As we hold the stretch with every breath in, breathing into your center of balance, 3 fingers below the navel. With every breath out from that place of balance, getting bigger in space as you send energy out through 2 arms, 2 legs, both ends of the spine. Connecting the center of yourself with the very periphery of the universe. Now exploring that top lateral line. I'll invite you to exhale that top hand front as we turn our heart to the floor. On the inhale, lifting hand high as we spin heart to sky. And let's do this a few times. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. We're halfway done. Exhale and inhale. Last 2 here. Exhale and inhale. Last one we'll hold as we reach. Back leg long, back leg strong. Long through that side torso, long through the arm, long through the fingers. Now the bottom hand joins, pure side motion. We'll breathe 2 hands up and exhale it over. So there's no twist to the torso here. Perfect. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. We're halfway done. Breathing in and breathing out. Last 2, breathing in and breathing out. Last one, breathing in, breathing out and holding. Back leg long, back leg strong, long through the side waist, the arms, the fingers, feel the stretch. And we have an option here, either fighting your triangle, 2 feet stay on the ground, or fighting the triangle on 1 foot, otherwise known as the half moon, as hand finds the hip. We can take a big step in. I'll suggest setting the base with 2 hands, lifting that back leg. Left hand can stay down, or we open up the hips to face side wall as left hand finds the hip. We can use that left hand to open up that top shoulder, and then stretching that hand high to the sky. Again, as we hold the shape, whether you took it up or not, breathing into your center of balance, 3 fingers below the navel. And then from that place, as the diaphragm on the exhale domes up to the heart, sending energy out through 2 arms, 2 legs, both ends of the spine. Deep, full breaths. Those of you that stayed 2 feet on the ground, you'll stay right there. From the float, hand finds the hip. We can land a short stance as that back foot comes down. Shifting the weight into the feet as we come on up. I'll suggest everybody joins in our warrior 2 as we bend that front leg. 1 long arm, looking out over those front fingers with that steady yet relaxed gaze. And then from here, I'll invite you to windmill the arms as you stretch out our shoulders, finding low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Yogi's choice. So as you hold down dog, I'm going to lower the camera even more. Let's do a little floor sequence here. So from the down dog, I'll invite you to find a child's pose. As you ground the knees lightly, welcome, Daryl. As we hold the child's pose, nestling our belly inside our thighs. Breathing in, letting your belly massage your thighs. Breathing out, letting your thighs massage your belly as you connect to a big ball of warmth in the very center of ourselves. In the child's pose, I'll invite you to bring, if they're not already there, arms in extension, the palms face down. Just feeling that stretch in your shoulders. Now I'll invite you to spin the palms up as you turn the armpits in. So the thumbs face out, little fingers face in, and feeling that stretch in your shoulders. And breathing into that stretch, whatever you're feeling. Noticing it like you might watch a cloud in the sky. Now our hands are going to look exactly the same, but we'll have the other rotation of the armpits. As we spin the armpits out, this is going to be a little more difficult. Thumbs face out, palms face in, and feeling that stretch in your shoulders. Now spinning the palms back down, and let's walk the hands in as we find a kneeling hero pose. Seated on our feet, one palm supports the other. Relaxed shoulders, finding your breath. From here, let's move towards eagle arms. Arms out to the side. Let's bring right under left. And if eagle arms is too much, just finding a cross-shoulder hug. Otherwise, connecting the palms, elbows up, up, and away as we breathe into back heart. Long and tall through the crown. Now releasing this wind of the arms. One palm supports the other. Relaxing those shoulders, finding your breath. Second side, arms out to the side, this time left under right. And again, you could always find that cross-shoulder hug if eagle arms aren't happening. Otherwise, connecting the palms, elbows up, up, and away as we breathe into back heart. Feeling those shoulder blades stretching away from the midline and breathing into that space. Now releasing this wind of the arms, relaxing those shoulders. One palm supports the other, finding our breath. Now let's bring our feet off to one side. Generally, we have a preferred side. I'll invite you to identify that and then bring the legs off the other way as we examine our patterns of movement. From here, let's find two long legs in front. I'll invite you to give your knees a little love and consideration, a hand on each side. Fingers find the back of the knee, just exploring that place. And then giving that kneecap a little wiggle. Second side, other knee, a hand on each side. Fingers find the back of the knee. And then giving that kneecap a little wiggle. From here, let's do a long, slow roll down onto our back. And I think we have time to do 3 of these as we start to connect with our center. So, Kathy, do you have room to go sideways so people can see your back? Okay, make sure, are you in frame?
I think so.
Excellent. Okay, you look good. So you're going to start from tall spine, otherwise known as neutral spine. Back of the head is in line with the sacrum. We can find those Frankenstein arms. From tall spine, we'll find C-spine as you tuck tail and chin. You're going to slowly, slowly, slowly roll yourself down, laying each vertebrae down as if you're laying pearls onto a cushion. When you get down, I'll suggest full body stretch, arms by the ears, not too low. You want to keep the ribs soft and drawing in. Low back's going to lift. From here, lifting the head to tuck the chin, pressing the back into the mat as we slowly roll ourselves back up. When you get to your sit, finding your tall spine. Now finding C-spine as we exhale and dome the upper back. Inhaling back to tall spine. On the exhale, C-spine as you slowly roll yourself down. Inhaling, finding a full body stretch. You want to keep the ribs soft and drawing in, arms not too low. Low back's going to lift. Now exhaling, lifting the head to tuck the chin, pressing the back into the mat as you roll yourself up. Inhaling, finding tall spine. Exhale, C-spine as we dome. Inhaling back to tall spine. Exhaling C-spine as we roll ourselves down. Inhaling full body stretch. And then on the exhale, I'll invite you to sweep your hands by your hips as you walk your feet in. And we'll work a laying down pigeon pose, a supine swan. As we bring right ankle on top of left thigh, we draw that left knee in towards the heart. Threading the needle as we reach through to catch thigh or shin. And then hugging that knee in towards the heart. As we hold supine swan or the laying down pigeon pose, I'll invite you to gently rock your body side to side, just stretching it out, just seeing how your body feels this morning, what feels tight, what feels right, just getting into those hips. Now coming back center, coming back to a place of relative stillness. From this place, unthreading the needle as we bring the hands out, and then we bring that ankle off of the thigh, coming back to a place with 2 feet on the floor, just letting your low back rest and relax. Now second side, we'll bring other ankle on top of other thigh. We'll draw that knee on in as we thread the needle, reaching through to catch thigh or shin. And then hugging that knee in as we breathe into that other hip. And then when you're ready, adding that gentle side-to-side rocking motion, just getting into that hip feels so good. And then coming back center, unthreading the needle, and then bringing that ankle off of the thigh, grounded down through 2 palms and 2 feet. Top foot stays flexed as you bring it on off. And just taking a breath into your back. From here, I'll invite you to reach back to lift and tuck the chin with a hand or pair of hands. Keeping the chin tucked, we'll draw the knees in as hands catch the shins. Gently, we'll start to rock it front to back, just massaging out our backs. Yeah, if you want to use the thighs instead of the shins, go for it. Be mindful of your neck, only going so far as the top of your shoulders, and that might even be a little too far. Until you pop up and find a cross-legged sit. In our cross-legged sit, I'll invite you to bring the heels of your hands to your thighs, and then pushing the thighs away as we sit up a little taller, a little straighter, a little taller. From here, left hand high to the sky, 5 fingers find the ground. Right hand finds the top of the left thigh. We're moving towards a twist. Take a breath to sit tall, and then looking over that back shoulder. Now, if looking over the back shoulder is too much, you could always keep your gaze off to the side or straight ahead. With every inhale, letting yourself sit up a little taller. With every exhale, finding a little more twist. Now letting your inhale bring you through center. Right hand finds the ground, 5 fingers. Left hand catches the top of that right thigh. Let an inhale grow your spine tall, and then finding your twist, either looking over that back shoulder or off to the side or straight ahead. Again, with every in-breath, sitting up a little bit taller. With every out-breath, finding a little more twist. Now letting your next inhale bring you back center, and let's switch the cross of the legs. Other leg front, other leg back. Grounding down through left hand, 5 fingers find the floor, right hand high to the sky. From here, let's rock onto that left sits bone as we lift the right sits bone up. And then keeping that right hand right where it is as we slide that sits bone back down. And then breathing into that side lateral line, more space between each rib. Now letting an inhale bring you through center, grounded down through 5 fingers of right hand, left hand high to the sky. Rocking onto that right sits bone as we lift the left sits bone up. And then keeping left hand right where it is as we slide that sits bone back down. And then holding for a couple of breaths as we find more space between each rib and breathing into that space. Now letting an inhale bring you back center. Let's bring our feet off to one side. And again, we generally have a habitual side, identifying that and going to the other side as we find all fours on our mat. And can you go sideways, Kathy? Let's be able to see your back again. And let's work the cat-camel stretch here. So breathing in, lifting chin and tail as we find an arc to the back. On the exhale, tucking chin and tail as we find an arch. Breathing in, finding the arc. Exhaling, finding the arch. Take your time. Breathing in, lifting it up. Exhaling, rounding it in. Let's throw a child's pose into the mix. Breathing in, finding the arc, and then rounding the spine, sits bones back to the heels as we tuck chin and tail. Breathing in, finding the arc. Breathing out, finding the arch as we draw sits bones back to the heels. One more time here. Breathing in, finding the arc. Exhaling, drawing it back as we find the arch. Breathing in, finding the arc, and then finding your neutral spine, back of the head, in line with the sacrum. If you want to do one more, go for it. From neutral spine, just feeling length in the spine as the crown of the head stretches front, tailbone stretches back, lengthening your back in both directions at once. From here, let's get to our down dog with the cat-camel combo. Breathing in, finding the arc as we lift chin and tail, and then tucking the toes, lifting the knees, rounding the spine, tailbone high, high, high. And then finding your neutral spine as you push into the hands and stretch those heels down. As we hold this down dog shape, I'll invite you to bend one leg deeply as you ground down through the opposite heel and hold for a breath or two, breathing into that hip. Now bending other legs, straightening or grounding down through other heel and holding, breathing into that other hip. And then freely walking the dog side to side, just stretching it out. How does it feel? What feels right? What feels tight? What feels somewhere in between? Those of you hard chargers out there, if you want to cycle through vinyasa, go for it. If you're not in that place, just keep walking the dog. Lots of ways to work a yoga practice. Most important thing is making sure it's your practice, doing what's right and good for you, right here, right now. And why don't you come to a place where you're facing the camera again? Awesome, beautiful. Make sure you're centered in frame. From down dog, tail end of her breath, bending the knees ever so slightly, lifting the tailbone a little bit higher, more space in the low back. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding. On the inhale, we'll come back to that chair, knees over toes, hands over head. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, a little back bend at the top. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll invite you to bring hands to heart, this time adding an isometric engagement. And I'm going to raise the camera, and we'll do that standing sequence on our second side. So in the isometric engagement, elbows wide to the side. I'll invite you to add a little tuck of the tail, a little tuck of the chin as you connect with the strength of your center. And then releasing that isometric engagement, lifting the chin, hands by your side. Taking a couple of long, smooth breaths here. As we hold this Tadasana, I'll invite you to spin the palms to face front as we stretch out our shoulders. And now spinning the back of the hands front as we stretch out our shoulders in another way. And then coming to that midpoint, hands by your side. We'll work that standing sequence on our second side, finding your chair pose, knees over toes, hands over head. Exhaling, taking it lower, the skiers stretch. From here, rising on up, a little engagement of the glutes, supporting open heart and throat. And then on the exhale, a big swan dive over, either cycling through vinyasa or just stretching straight back. Yogi's choice. And I'll give you some time. From down dog, when you're ready. Flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, left leg high to the sky for the three-legged dog. High on the right toes, so we have lots of clearance. Trying to keep that left shoulder just as it is, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. And then looking between the hands. As you bring that left foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms up and over the head. for our Warrior One. In Warrior One, I'll invite you to bring hands back to the hips as we shift weight onto the front foot to lengthen our stance, if appropriate. With our hands on our hips, we can steer front hip back, back hip front. Now finding 4 fingers on the tip of the thumb as we stretch out our wrist, trying to touch the front of the wrists. Bringing those bird beaks onto our shoulders, relaxing our shoulders and squaring our heart front. Now switching the clasp of the fingers, pressing the head into the hands, open heart and throat. And then stretching those hands high to the sky. From here with the breath, gathering up the energy, inhaling, exhaling cactus arms. Take your time. Breathing in, lifting up, exhaling. Breathing in, lifting up, exhaling. We're halfway done. Breathing in and breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in, breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in, breathing out and holding. The elbows move back, the hands come with, rippling those fingers, just enjoying the stretch. Now turning Warrior One into Warrior Two as hands find the heart. Hips open up to face the side wall. You might narrow the stance just a tad if appropriate. And then finding that one long arm, looking out over those front fingers with that mixture of effort and ease. As we hold the stretch, long feel that arm as those front fingers stretch front, back fingers stretch back. Long through the torso, crown of the head reaches up, grounded down through the strength of your legs. From here, painting rainbows, breathing in, lifting up, exhaling, breathing in, and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out, we're halfway done. Breathing in, breathing out, last 2. Breathing in, breathing out, last 1. Finding your reverse warrior in, holding. As we reach up a little higher, we reach down a little further, breathing into that front lateral line, finding more space between each rib, and filling that space with your breath, with your intention. Reverse warrior comes back to Warrior Two. Transitioning to the triangle, thumb and forefinger find crease of hip and base of rib. We deepen that crease, we lengthen those ribs, keeping a little spring in the knee as we ground bottom hand down, opening up top shoulder, stretching hand high to the sky. And as we hold the triangle with every breath in, breathing into your center of balance, 3 fingers below the navel. With every breath out, from that place of balance, sending energy out through the legs, the arms, both ends of the spine, connecting the center of yourself with the periphery of the universe. Now exploring that top lateral line as we exhale that top hand front, turning our heart to the ground. On the inhale, lifting hand high as we spin heart to sky. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. We're halfway done. Exhale and inhale. Last 2. Exhale and inhale. Last 1. We'll hold. Back leg long, back leg strong. From the strength of that leg, finding more length in your torso, more length in the arm, rippling those fingers. Now the bottom hand joins. We're going to take that twist out of the torso. Pure side motion as we breathe 2 hands up. And exhale it over. Breathing it up. Exhale it over. Breathing it up. Exhale it over. We're halfway done. Up. And over. Last 2. Up. And over. Last 1. Up. Over and hold. Back leg long, back leg strong, long through both sides of the torso. Long through 2 arms, rippling those fingers. And then we have a choice. Either moving towards our triangle and holding, or playing with your half moon. As top hand finds the hip, we can take a big step in. I'll suggest setting the base with 2 hands. Lifting back leg, either keeping 2 hands down, or that second hand finds the hip as hips face the side wall. Using that hand to open up that shoulder, and then maybe stretching that hand high to the sky. Whether you found the float 2 feet or kept 2 feet down. Again, with every breath in, Breathing into your center of balance as your diaphragm stretches down towards the navel. As the diaphragm domes up to the heart, sending energy out through all four limbs and both ends of the spine. As you make yourself bigger in space from the inside out. Those of you that kept 2 feet down, you'll stay right there. From the float, hand finds the hip, we can land a short stance. Shifting the weight into the feet. I'll suggest everybody joins in our warrior two. And then from here, a big windmill of the arms as you stretch out our shoulders for low lunge. And from low lunge, one last time this morning, back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Yogi's choice. And again, take your time, find your flow, follow your breath. As you hold down dog, I'm going to lower the camera just again. And then from down dog, I'll invite you to find a child's pose. As you land the knees lightly, nestling your belly inside our thighs. This time I'll suggest a pair of soft fists to support the forehead. Yeah, you might stack those fists to get a little more height. Yeah. So now, with our forehead on those soft fists, we're stimulating our sixth chakra, our intuition, how we know things without knowing how we know them. Also a great place to release tension in the back of the head, the neck, the shoulders. And then again, I'll invite you to come back to that kneeling hero pose as we sit on our feet. The inner knees connect. One palm supports the other, finding our breath. From here, let's find a clasp of the fingers behind the back. Shoulder blades backing down onto rib shelf. And trying to keep that sits bone to heel connection as long as you can as we find a forward fold. And then you can let those sits bones gently lift as we relax the neck and head of the head. Now a tuck of the chin as we bring it on up, losing the clasp of the fingers behind the back. We'll find the other clasp of the fingers in front. We'll press those palms up to the sky. Here I'll invite you to lift the shoulders up, keeping the shoulders up, taking them back, and then regrounding them back onto rib shelf. And either keeping the gaze straight ahead or lifting the face to look up to the sky. Now releasing the clasp of the fingers, palms find the lap. Again, one palm supports the other. Relaxing the shoulders. This time, without shortening the neck, a slight tuck of the chin as we refocus our attention inward, just watching as our breath flows in and out. And one more time, finding that less familiar side as we bring our feet off to one side. Two long legs in front. Let's do double care and consideration for our knees, just capping those kneecaps, just warming them up. One last roll down onto our backs. Two long legs, we can start from tall spine. Finding C-spine as we tuck tail and shin, masterfully lowering ourselves down, laying each vertebrae down as if we're laying pearls onto a cushion. When we get down, full body stretch, pointing fingers and toes. And then from this place, finding your Shavasana as you sweep your hands by your hips, widening your thighs, scooting the shoulders back as you flatten, or scooting the head back as we flatten the shoulders, doing whatever else feels right and good for you this morning. Tip of the tongue is now neutral in the mouth, a slight part to the lips, but still breathing in and out through your nose. And we'll be here about 40, 45 seconds. I'm going to ring these yoga bells 3 times. I invite you to hear the striking of the tone, the duration of the sound, its subsequent diminution, and then the silence thereafter. I'll invite you to move your mind before you move your body. Bring your attention back to your breath, watching as it flows in and out, much like watching a river as the river flows by. Now I'll invite you to shape your breath as you find a long, slow inhalation, followed by an even longer, slower exhalation. Letting those longer out breaths dissipate any lingering tension that might still rest in our body after our practice. Just let those exhales, let that tension go. Keeping this more relaxing breath, inviting more circulation into your body as you gently ripple fingers and toes. Now inviting that circulation in towards center as we gently circle our wrists and our ankles. Couple times each way. Adding a little shimmy of the shoulders, a little shimmy of the hips, connecting with your own innate sense as to what feels right and good for you, right here, right now. Moving towards Apanasana as we draw one knee and then the other into our heart. Keeping the back of the head down, using our thighs to massage our low belly as you gently lift and lower your low back and hips. Whatever other movement feels right and good, go for it, side to side, little circles, one leg and then the other. Again, just connecting with your own innate wisdom as to what feels right and good for you, right here, right now. From here, I'll invite you to stretch long through an arm, keeping the knees close in, and then rolling onto one side, letting your arms serve as a cushion for the head as you rest and relax for a breath or so. I'll invite you to let a breath sigh out through your mouth as you soften your shoulders, relax your jaw, softening the corners of your eyes. And then with a soft tuck of the chin, pushing on up to reclaim a cross-legged sit. As we sit grounded down through our sits bones, I'll invite you to take the heels of your hands to your thighs, pushing the thighs away as we sit up a little straighter, a little taller. 5 fingers of one hand find the ground as the palm of the other hand faces the sky. A slight tuck of the chin, ending our practice as we started, watching as our breath flows in and watching as our breath flows out. From this place of breath observation, I invite you to bring your hands to your heart and bow as you thank yourself for practicing yoga. The light within me honors and respects the light within you. And in this light, we are one. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you at home for practicing with us. Thank you, Kathy, for practicing with me.
Thank you, Mark.
And we'll see you all real soon. And feel free to make any comments. We always like to give everybody what they want, what they need. Thank you so much.